हेलो एभ्रिवान, यहाँहरू सम्पूर्णलाई म आजको यस कार्यक्रममा स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। म रोशन बाबु पाण्डे, यस भेट्स सिक्स कमिटीको सचिवको तर्फबाट यहाँहरू सम्पूर्णलाई चाहिँ सर्वप्रथम स्वागत भन्न चाहे। आजको हाम्रो भेट्सको यस प्रोग्राम फ्रम क्लासरुम टु क्लिनिक्स नेभिगेटिङ द ट्रान्जिसन टु भेटनरी प्र्याक्टिस टपिकमा रहेको छ र जसको आजको हाम्रो रिसर्च पर्सन हुनुहुन्छ दिदी डाक्टर रञ्जिता वास्तोलाज्यू, जो यसै एग्रिकल्चर एन्ड फरेस्ट्री युनिभर्सिटीबाट ग्रेजुएट हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले वर्ल्ड भेटनरी सर्भिस WVS इन्डियाबाट चाहिँ आफ्नो क्लिनिकल प्र्याक्टिस सुरु गर्नुभएको थियो र त्यहाँ रहेर आफ्नो क्लिनिकल प्र्याक्टिस सँगसँगै त्यहाँ ट्रेनिङहरू गराउँदै हाल अमेरिकामा रहनुहुन्छ र वर्ल्डकै टफेस्ट मानिएको नर्थर्न अमेरिकन भेटनरी लाइसेन्सिङ एक्जाम NAVLE चाहिँ ट्राई गरेर एउटा हामी जस्तो भेटनरी डिग्री पर्चेस गरिरहेको मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ एउटा इन्सपायरिङ काम गरेर चाहिँ एज अ रोल मोडलको जस्तो रूपमा चाहिँ हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँ चाहिँ अहिले हाल अमेरिकामा हुनुहुन्छ। त्यस्तो व्यक्तिबाट आज हामीले एउटा युनिभर्सिटीबाट एकाडेमिक रूपमा ग्रेजुएट हुँदै गरेको एउटा भेटनरियनले चाहिँ क्लिनिकसम्म चाहिँ जाँदै गर्दा के कस्ता अवसरहरू छन् वा के कस्ता साथसाथै त्यहाँ के कस्ता अब्स्ट्याकल्सहरू आउन सक्छन् र यो फिल्डमा लागिरहँदा गर्नुपर्ने, सिक्नुपर्ने र के फेजहरू आउन सक्छन्, कस्ता कस्ता कुराहरू हुन सक्छन् भन्ने विषयमा चाहिँ रहेर आजको हाम्रो यो सेसन रहनेछ। अब भने म ढिला नगरिकन आजको यस सेसनको रिसोर्स पर्सन दिदी रञ्जिता वास्तोलाज्यूलाई चाहिँ म आजको यस मञ्च चाहिँ हस्तान्तरण गर्न चाहन्छु। दिदी, इट्स योर टाइम। थ्याङ्क यू।
Thank you so much, Roshan bhai. Thank you so much everybody for having me over here. म पनि ढिला नगरिकन मेरो प्रेजेन्टेसन चाहिँ स्टार्ट गर्छु। हामीले चाहिँ आई थिङ्क 6 महिना जस्तो भयो गरम गरम भनेको होइन, फाइनली आज टाइम मिलेर यो प्रोग्राम चाहिँ हुन लागेको छ। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट।
Yes, Didi, it's visible. हजुरको स्क्रिन सेयर गर्दा हुन्छ दिदी। हजुरको स्क्रिन सेयर गर्दा हुन्छ दिदी, यता भिजिबल भछ। अब के भयो?
होस् ल ल सबैजनालाई भिजिबल छ नि है स्क्रिन
हजुर दिदी
ल मलाई चाहिँ हजुरकै भिजिबल हुनुहुन्न है ल आज चाहिँ we will be talking about so all these changes we are going through when we are navigating the when we are transitioning to our veterinary practice अनि सबैजना सबै यहाँ भएको जति सबैजना चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिपमा हो अहिले
होइन दिदी अहिले चाहिँ हामी तलको ब्याचहरू पनि छौँ सबै ब्याचहरू छ इन्टर्नसिपकोहरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ
ए के अरे यसो इन्ट्रोडक्सन लाइक भन्नाले सबै के छ इन्टर्नसिपदेखि कति सेमेस्टरसम्मको
यस्तो छ दिदी
अहिले यहाँ सबभन्दा सिनियर मोस्ट ब्याच चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिपको हुनुहुन्छ त्यसपछि हामी 8 सेमेस्टरको ब्याच छौँ त्यसपछि 6 सेमेस्टर अनि 4th सेमेस्टर साथसाथै 2nd सेमेस्टरसम्म छौँ
त्यसो भए एकचोटिमा इन्टर्नसिपमा भएकोहरू जतिले चाहिँ जस्ट ह्यान्ड रेज गरिदिनु न लाइक तल इमोजीमा गरेर ओके ओके गुड गुड अहिलेसम्म 3 जना गुड ओके सो 3 जना चाहिँ हाम्रो इन्टर्नसिपमा होइन पारस आरती कुसुम ल ठिक छ ओके ल एकदम धेरै टाइम पछि चाहिँ आम इन्टरेक्टिङ विथ अल अफ यु गाइज सो सबैजना भिडियो अन गर्यो भने चाहिँ रमाइलो हुन्थ्यो होला है सो लेट्स जस्ट गेट स्टार्टेड
तिमीबाट स्क्रिनशट लियो न एक दुईवटा है के भयो मेरो ल्यापटप
किन नभयो
सबैको
ओके भयो एकछिन म त कस्तो जान्दै जान्दिनँ कि के भयो ल अहिले चाहिँ भिजिबल भयो है कतिको पुरै भिजिबल भएको त देखियो त छैन ल ओके जस्ट लेट्स जस्ट गेट स्टार्टेड प्लिज एक्सक्युज मी फर अल दिस टेक्निकल एरर्स यो चाहिँ मेरो आउटलाइन हो प्रेजेन्टेसनको सो विल बी टकिङ अबाउट इन्ट्रोडक्सन टु spectrum of care before you go into the practice. This is a very new concept right now, but I guess we have been practicing this in this area since a very long time. Or this is like recognition work. So I want all of you to know before you move into practice or move into career what is this concept, and then we will talk about the career stages. Then I into my story that how did I transition into clinical practice right after graduation. Then I'll also talk about why ECF easy pathway was needed for me. Then we will just discuss what all resources can help us, and finally we'll close up with a little bit of information on physical examination and monitoring ill patients. सो मलाई चाहिँ एकदम इन्टरेक्टिभ भएर गर्न मन लाग्छ होइन तर मैले यहाँ कसलाई पनि देख्न नपाएर चाहिँ के हो भइरहेछ सो इफ यु गाइज क्यान यु नो जस्ट किप सेइङ यस अर ओके इन बिट्विन द्याट विल रियली हेल्प मी आउट खै त है मैले त देख्दै नदेख्ने कि यतिको गर्दाखेरि कतिको देखेछ कि देखे छैन
देखियो छ
विजुअल छ
पढ्न सक्नु हो ल अब के भन्छ अरे सानो सानो लेटर फन्टहरू भएको स्लाइड चाहिँ म ठुलो गरिदिन्छु नभयो भने चाहिँ यतिकै गरिदिन्छ है त
ब्याकग्राउन्डको लोगो हटेछ क्या
इज द्याट ओके विथ एभ्रीबडी
यस दिदी
यस दिदी
ल सो अहिलेसम्म कसैले स्पेक्ट्रम अफ केयर भनेको सुनेको थियो कि नै त
भन न एउटाले नो यार
खै त कसैले सुन्नु भएको छ स्पेक्ट्रम अफ केयर भनेको के हो भनेर
नो दिदी
नो दिदी
Okay. So, spectrum of care भनेको चाहिँ just an idea that veterinary care exists along a continuum instead of requiring us to always exceed a set baseline or follow prescribed gold standard. So, practice गर्दाखेरि पढ्छौँ नि त there are like lots of gold standard treatments, especially when you move into practice with live animals like poultry. It could be large animals, small animals, exotic, whatever practice you are doing. So there is always a gold standard treatment, like it's the highest form of treatment, and that is like specific for that disease or for that problem. So sometimes what happens is it's not always possible to follow gold standards. Sometimes we have to tailor the treatment plan or management plan, or how we can cope with the disease, all those things as per the requirement of the animal, veterinary practice, veterinarian, and the owner. So we have to remember that whenever we are into practice, these things like one is patient, second one is client, owner of the animal, and third one is veterinary practice, veterinary facilities, and fourth one is veterinarians. All these things are gonna play vital roles. So now what happens is when we are graduating or when we are at our early career and when we are reading about cases or even the treatments, then they will always mention gold standard treatment. So what happens is we will not be able to achieve that at once, at one go, or in the beginning, or the resources to achieve that gold standard treatment. So what happens is that may cause a bit of frustration in us as a doctor, that we are not giving our 100% to the patient. So it just introduces the idea of like we are at the baseline and the treatment we have to provide it as like way above than us. So it just sort of creates a lot of frustration in us, or even the problems moving ahead. So what happened is they brought this concept, spectrum of care, where the treatment we tailor for our patient as their need or as per the resources available to us, without going to the gold standard treatment, or without going to the specialty. So that is basically spectrum of care. And I think in context of Nepal and India, whenever we are doing general practice, we always are in the spectrum of care. And त्यही मैले चाहिँ बुझाउन खोजेको होइन. So that is like perfectly fine, and that is really good. जहिले पनि स्पेसलिटी हुनुपर्छ, स्पेसलिटीमै जानुपर्छ, त्यही नै खालको ट्रिटमेन्ट गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन कि. So this is like very new concept in US and Europe right now. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, Didi.
Yes, Didi.
Good question भयो भने चाहिँ ह्यान्ड रेज गरेर मलाई सोधिहाल्ने है. Thank you. So I just want you guys to see this picture. म यसलाई ठुलो बनाइदिन्छु होइन. कर्सर देखिरहेछ?
हजुर देखिरहेछ.
ओके. सो पिक्चर छ. यो चाहिँ ABMA को पब्लिकेसन हो होइन. जस्ट रिसेन्टली आई थिङ्क इन 2021 भेरी रिसेन्ट. के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि देयर आर लाइक two things, 2 points. One is basic, one is advanced. Basic is general practice, advanced is specialty practice. Sometimes even general practice can provide advanced care. Okay, this is like basically care, basic care, advanced care. If they have a specialty doctor, they have specialty special facilities, equipments, resources available to them. Okay, so you see basic care at cost, it will be less resource dependent. Okay, you can just think about the practice we do in Nepal. Most of the general practice they will require essential skills, and then it will be low tech, as in the technology wise it will be low. MRI machines or CT machines, or even ultrasounds, or even radio. Advanced care, advanced specialty hospitals, which will have higher cost, and these will be like referral hospitals, like orthopedic. You can just I mean नेपालमा त त्यस्तो छैन होइन, but in India there are referral hospitals like the Ayurved, the Cancer Vet, and even for orthopedic cases, and now they have like renal clinics or something like that also. So they will always be higher cost and resource dependent. They will have to have human resources as well as like specialist, and then even the technician, specialty technicians, all those things, and they will require advanced skills, and it will have to be state of the art. Now you see, if we see from basic care to advanced care, there is like a curve is formed, and that is entirely like a spectrum of care. There's like a range of all. Okay, and we also have to know that basic care is not worse, is not unacceptable, is not unsuccessful treatment, is not substandard care, and is not product of successful education, or even the basic care can be like challenging. It's not less challenging. And another thing is advanced care is not always better. Okay, and advanced care is not always better. It's not always acceptable. It's not always a successful treatment. It's not always a standard of care. It's also not a product of practice experience. And lastly, it's not. Okay, so what I want you all to understand is, like, whenever you are providing basic care, I mean, when you graduate, you will be providing basic care. So whenever you are doing that, going for that, do not ever feel guilty about it. Do not get frustrated that you are not giving advanced care, or you don't have those special technologies. Even with your basic knowledge, with your essential skills and low tech, you can provide the best the patient when they require. Okay, everybody clear? ठीक छ? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, please be interactive. म चाहिँ यस्तो एक्लै बोलिराख्यो भने अब कसैले बुझ्या हो कि नबुझ्या हो कि के मेक इफ इट इज मेकिङ सेन्स और नट, आई डोन्ट नो हैन. Okay, now let's just take an example of this. Suppose कुछ छ त यहाँ इन्टर्नशिपमा भन्दा, सपोज पारस, खै त पारसलाई देखेँ थिएँ मैले, पारस छ इन्टर्नसिपमा प्लिज यस ओके सो ल पारस है त सपोज यु जस्ट ग्रेजुएट कहिले ग्रेजुएट हुने हो पारस
अब यो जनवरीमा दिदी
ए ल आइसक्यो कङ्ग्रेचुलेसन्स सपोज पारस चाहिँ ग्रेजुएट हुँदा बित्तिकै पारस चाहिँ एउटा क्लिनिकमा काम गर्न थाल्नुभयो होइन कुनै क्लिनिक एक्सवाइजेड क्लिनिक अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ के अभाइलेबल छ त भन्दाखेरि अब बेसिक ट्रिटमेन्ट अभाइलेबल छ अनि एउटा चाहिँ अब अल्ट्रासाउन्ड अभाइलेबल छ अरे अरू केही अभाइलेबल छैन होइन अनि नेपालमा अरू कतै केही अरू स्पेसलिटी हस्पिटल पनि छैन सो नाउ यु आर प्रेजेन्टेड with a dog with cardiovascular disease. Suppose you detect a murmur in a dog. Murmur पनि high grade murmur भयो अरे अनि त्यसपछि अब हाई ग्रेड मर्मर भयो होइन अब हजुरले चाहिँ ल यो चाहिँ कार्डियोलोजी पेसेन्ट हो भनेर डिटेक्ट गर्नुभयो हार्ट डिजिज यताउता अब चाहिँ के गर्ने त के हुन सक्छ त त्यसको प्लान बनाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ कसरी प्लान गर्नुहुन्छ कि वुड यु लाइक टु गिभ सम इनपुट
यसको लागि त दिदी त्यो इको नगरिकन त इको कार्डियोग्राफी त्यो नगरिकन त केही पनि गर्न सकिन्न अब अलि डाक्टरलाई रिफर गर्ने एडभान्स डाक्टरलाई
अब के भन्छ अरे सपोज हजुरले यो डिटेक्ट गरेको चाहिँ कहाँ गएको भन्दाखेरि सपोज चितवनमा गयो अरे अब एको गर्ने डाक्टर चाहिँ काठमाडौँमा हुनुहुन्छ अरे अनि अनरले अब अनरलाई कसरी कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ त यो कुरा गर्दाखेरि
अब अनरलाई अलि सिरियस केस हो यसको लागि स्पेशलाइज डाक्टर चाहिन्छ रिफर गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने हजुरको डाक्टरलाई हजुरको कुकुरलाई चाहिँ अब काठमाडौँ लगेर मात्रै बचाउन सकिन्छ भन्ने
ओके फाइन गुड अनरले भन्यो अरे अब मसँग चाहिँ काठमाडौँ लैजानको लागि केही पनि छैन रिसोर्सेस छैन म खर्च गर्न सक्दिनँ यस्तो भन्यो अरे अनि त्यो
कन्डिसनमा त अब ओनरसँग चाहिँ यसको क्वालिटी अफ लाइफ छ त्यति क्वालिटी अफ लाइफ चाहिँ बाँच्न दिने नत्र अब सेकेन्ड अप्सन गर्ने
ठिक छ सो त्यस्तो कन्डिसनमा चाहिँ आफ्नो बेसिक नलेज युज गरेर अनि त्यसपछि हुन्छ नि क्वालिटी अफ लाइफलाई डेफिनेटली स्टेबल बनाइराख्नको लागि त्यो त्यति बेलामा चाहिँ आफूसँग भएको sometimes they might require oxygen therapy, sometimes they might require if there is some kind, sometimes ultrasound sonography, like ultrasound machine, so when you can just put it in the heart and see what's going on, probably काम गरिरहेको हुन्छ हैन अनि त्यसपछि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ एक्सरे गरेर पनि हेर्न सकिन्छ कस्तो छ के छ कन्डिसन अनि त्यसपछि अब त्यही अनुसार चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्टतिर चाहिँ मुभ हुन पर्यो के ओके that's what I wanted to let you know. Okay, so let's just move into the next slide, career phase ma. So now sorry. देखिन्छ है सबैलाई क्लियरली
हजुर देखिरहेछ
ओके Okay, so there are like 3 stages of practicing veterinarian, I know. अथवा जुन कुनै पनि veterinarian. एउटा चाहिँ अर्ली करियर हुन्छ है फर्स्ट 5 years आफ्टर ग्रेजुएसन यसमा चाहिँ एकदमै मेन्टरसिप चाहिन्छ एकदमै रोबस्ट टाइपको मेन्टरसिप चाहिन्छ अनि यति बेला चाहिँ यु क्यान सी लाइक प्र्याक्टिस गर्ने हो कि मास्टर्स गर्ने हो कि एकाडेमियातिर जाने हो कि अथवा चाहिँ इन्डस्ट्रीतिर जाने हो होइन यति बेलामा चाहिँ चुज गरेर अगाडि बढ्ने हो अनि त्यसपछि मिड करियर हुन्छ त्यो भनेको चाहिँ लाइक अर्ली करियर ओभर भइसकेपछि लाइक आफ्टर 5-6 years त्यस्तो हुन्छ होइन. त्यति बेलामा चाहिँ करियर सिफ्ट पनि हुनसक्छ, अथवा चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिस गरिरहेको मान्छे एकाडेमियातिर मुभ हुनसक्छ, अथवा इन्डस्ट्रीतिर मुभ हुनसक्छ, or they can continue being what they are doing. And then they will assume more leadership roles. So mid-career people will be career people. Now then it comes late career. त्यति बेलामा चाहिँ we all are established. We have already chosen our path, and then we have achieved something, or we are just trying to achieve something. So, but it's over there, we are not gonna change anything about our career. Like, we are happy wherever we are, or all those things. So I suppose I'm in early career, and so are you guys. We are gonna be graduating. यति बेलाको निड भनेको चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, यो मेन्टरशिप हुन्छ क्या. ओके, यति बेलामा चाहिँ मेन्टरशिप एकदमै चुज गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ, राम्रोसँग बुझेर हेरेर. I mean, who can you provide good or what type of workplace can you provide mentorship? Now, let's just move into my story. So it's pretty much straightforward. So I always thought, my undergrad, I always thought that I'm gonna be into academics, I'm gonna do research, and then do PhD, be intellectual and whatnot. I had thought all that, and then everybody around me, my friends, used to think, yeah, I'm gonna go abroad, I'm gonna do GRE, I'm gonna go abroad, and I'm gonna do all that thing. But everything is like sub opposite number. So now I'm a practitioner. So I attended Wasawa Congress in Singapore in 2018, where I got to experience all this these things about practice, small animal practice, and all those things. And I also saw the potential that lies in me as a small animal practitioner, and also like how the vets are globally. Like, it was a great exposure. Then I did like internship. I went into internship right after that, and then I did internship at Heart and even at AMC. I think they really helped me to clarify where I wanted to go. And I was still thinking about doing GRE and going abroad, okay, even though I had a bit of interest over there in small animals. Then right after graduation, I think the very next day of graduation, I had the opportunity to attend or participate in animal birth control surgery training at WBS India, Ooty. Then it was like I learned about all those surgical skills, and I saw how they practice over there. Mostly I saw the animal welfare practice, and I learned what is right and what is wrong over there. Changed all my perception towards it. Then I came back. Then it was time for me to prepare for this that exam after graduation for registration, National Veterinary Examination for Licensure or something. त्यो एक्जाम भयो, अनि एक्जामको लागि प्रिपेयर गरेँ. त्यताबाट आएपछि अनि त्यही नै गरेँ. अनि त्यसपछि पनि जिआरई गर्छु भनेर सोचेँ, बट I could not afford the cost of doing GRE. It was going to cost 50,000, and it was at that time to do it. So I was like, okay, fine. Now what next is there? So I started searching for jobs. Then I worked at a shelter in Nepal for 3 to 4 months, and then I was like, okay, I'm not getting any mentorship over here. This place is not serving me in the way I want. So I was like, okay, it's time to quit this place and go somewhere better where I can get good mentorship. Then I started applying for WBS. So it took like about 2 months time for them to give me, like, accept me. And also like recommendations from people I met at WBS ABC training played a role. Then I got a job at WBS. I went as a junior vet over there. You see like how I'm transitioning into my practice. I went as a junior vet, and all I did was learn as much as I can. I also, like, at the end of my contract, I also went to a dog population management program where I had like I had to operate like almost 4 to 5,000 dog surgeries. I think within a period of 3 to 4 months, like that. I'm not sure if we achieved that or not, but I think we operated quite a lot. अनि त्यसपछि त्यसले चाहिँ एकदम धेरै हेल्प गर्यो होइन. अनि त्यसपछि म नेपाल आएँ. अनि नेपाल आएर चाहिँ मैले के सोचेँ भन्दाखेरि म अब नेपालमै बस्छु, म बाहिर कति जान्न, नेपालमै बस्छु, नेपालमै काम गर्छु, नेपालमा म केही गर्ने हो, पुरै म कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्ने हो भन्ने खालको त्यस्तो प्यासन थियो मसँग. अनि त्यसपछि कोभिड भयो. कोभिडमा चाहिँ अब 6-7 months यतिकै कोभिडले गयो होइन. त्यो टाइममा मैले के गरेँ त भन्दाखेरि जिआरई गरिहालेँ कि फेरि. अब त्यो लङ लस्ट थियो नि त त्यो. अनि त्यसपछि आई वान्ट यु गाइज to be interactive. Okay, you guys can laugh. Please unmute yourself, laugh, or if you guys want to talk, please talk.
Ma'am, you can continue. Ma'am, you can just continue. We are enjoying the session.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so I did the GRE. It was I think a second pandemic early theory, 2022, 2021.
Something like that. Continue.
Sorry?
Continue, ma'am. We are enjoying.
Okay, so I think second pandemic, it was like 2021, and I literally did GRE. I took the course because I had the money now. I could afford, and it was online, so it was like costing really less. Then I did GRE. I mean, just in case, I did GRE, and then when I was about to take exam, then I was offered a job in Nepal, and I was like, okay, perfect. If I'm getting a job in Nepal, if I can put my foot in Nepal, like keep my foot down, let's see how it goes. I should take an experience working in Nepal as well. Then I took that job, and I was like, okay, fine. This job, it did not serve me well. Like, I did not get what I wanted. So I was like, okay, fine. If it is not serving me well, then I need to quit. I again quit, and I got another better opportunity in India, in Delhi. That was in metropolitan city. That was a referral hospital for orthopedic referral hospital with amazing mentor. I mean, after going over there, my skills, my knowledge, and my exposure to small animal cases increased and improved like anything. I was far more better working over there than in the previous jobs. But I also got that job just because I had a strong foundation in the beginning of my career while working at WBS. अनि त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ मैले नयाँ नयाँ टेक्नोलोजीहरूलाई देख्न पाएँ होइन, त्यहाँनिर काम गर्न पाएँ. Medicine cases were there, and new medicines, advanced medicines, all those things I got to see. It's अलिकति म्याच्युरिटी पनि भयो, प्रोफेसनल म्याच्युरिटी हुन्छ नि, थिङ्किङ लाइक एज अ वेट कसरी थिङ्क गर्ने, त्यो सबै कुराहरू चाहिँ मच्युरिटी भयो. द्याट वाज लाइक रियली, द्याट इज रियली इम्पोर्टेन्ट फर मी. द्याट पार्ट अफ माई लाइफ वाज रियली इम्पोर्टेन्ट विच आई स्पेन्ड इन दिल्ली. And also over there, I got to meet a lot of people from US, Canada, who were working as a vet, and they explained it to me how it is over there. And I was also looking to advance my career, किनभने मलाई चाहिँ जहिले पनि एउटै काम गरिराख्नु पनि हुन थियो. So मैले चाहिँ त्यही दिल्लीमा काम गर्दा गर्दै it was 2022, I took a decision of pursuing ACFBC pathway. Then I started my I always thought I'm going to go to Canada. Then I started that CBME, Canada ko lagi चाहिँ CBME भन्छ, CBME को certificate. And त्यति बेलामा चाहिँ जस्ट रजिस्ट्रेसन मात्र भइरहेको थियो. इट वाज टेकिङ अ बिट अफ टाइम. अनि त्यसपछि अब पढ्नको लागि टाइम पनि चाहिने होइन. त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ एकदमै डिमान्डिङ थियो. बिहानदेखि रातिसम्म काम हुन्थ्यो, इभन एट नाइट रातिसम्म गर्नुपर्थ्यो कहिलेकाहीँ होइन. सो पढ्नुको लागि फेभरेबल थिएन, तर बाँकी अरू सबै कुराहरू चाहिँ फेभरेबल थियो. सो आई डिसाइडेड टु गो ब्याक टु द ओभर देयर. आई गट अ लट अफ सिनियर पोजिसन्स. Really well for me. I reached सबभन्दा हाइएस्ट पोजिसनमा पुगेँ म WS मा. अनि अहिले चाहिँ I'm in US. So AC लाइक ABC ट्रेनिङबाट आइपुगेँ. अनि just in this August I moved to US because I got married in Jan, so I had to come. And then after getting married, I also transferred my CBMA to ECFBC for US because we are going to be staying in US. So, and obviously I'm thinking about going back to school with a long-term planning, but I don't know, किनभने US मा आएपछि धेरै कुराले फ्याक्टर गर्छ. सबभन्दा ठुलो कुरा चाहिँ भिजा स्टेटस हो, स्टेबल भिजा स्टेटस. So this is like just in planning. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, or I can move to next? Yeah, so like it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Can you please explain again the journey from CBMA to US and what's your upcoming plan?
Yeah, sure. I'm getting to it. Okay, so यति भयो होइन. So you see like okay, thank you so much. You guys keep posting your questions. So यति भइसक्यो that I wanted to tell you all that I did not burst from my career, even though in between I was doing GI and stuff, action on that. So I'm still in the small animal on this one. Okay, so now let's just move to my ECFBC pathway. Okay, so this is like I already told you it was needed to advance my career because I want to move towards specialization. Okay, I want to be I still want to be an academically intellectual person, and I also like research and stuff. But I also keep being a veterinarian. I don't want to lose that veterinarian part in me. So I decided this is it for me. And then I have already done my NAP. Then now I only have like clinical proficiency exam left, and it's scheduled for May 2025, just in 4 to 5 months time. Okay. Now यो स्क्रिन माथि भएपछि चाहिँ फुल भएपछि चाहिँ मैले देख्दिनँ होइन. सो प्लिज अनम्युट योरसेल्फ एन्ड आस्क मी द क्वेसन. So now I'm just going to talk about the steps for this NAVLE. Okay, and I'm in complete ECFEZ pathway. Okay. So step 1 is registration and proof of graduation. That's college degree verification. For CVMA, Canadian Veterinary Medical, sorry, Association, excuse me. So for Canadian Veterinary Medical Association, CVMA, the registration and everything is pretty convenient. Okay, I would rather say convenient as compared to मेरो चाहिँ 1-2 महिनामै भइहाल्यो हैन. I just had to send my everything, all the documents to CVMA. I just did it from India, and it was really easy for me to do all those things because I was in India, and it was very easy. Like I would just ask those FedEx or whatever those delivery companies, they would just come to our doorstep and do it for us. It was pretty easy for me, and I was also earning a good amount of money that supported my all expenses. Okay, so I never asked any money from my parents, never. Everything I did it on my own. So all those things is moving ahead and all those things, and just in 2024 I transferred my CVMA to ECFEZ. When I'm saying that transferring CVMA to ECFEZ, that means I'm in my scores. You have to register with ECFEZ from the beginning. So we started ECFEZ registration from the 2024, and only the registration expense was $1,400 USD. Okay, and this registration happened really pretty quickly, but proof of graduation, that means college degree verification, it like 4 to 5 months, because first thing they put like wrong email ID of RD. RD never got any email. They will ask our dean to fill up a form which will verify that we have you and all those things. They're pretty, ECFEZ is pretty what it is called, short-staffed. So they took like 4 to 5 months to reply my emails, and when finally they replied, it happened, and I was able to book CP date. Okay, so that is the thing. It will take a lot of time for registration in ECFEZ, but not in CVMA. To my experience and my other colleagues and friends. Now, step 2, English language ability. Okay, that's very important. TOEFL IBT is 92. You have to see they have a band like TOEFL IBT मा पनि तिनीहरुको चाहिँ सर्टेन उयो छ के रिक्वायरमेन्ट छ. स्पिकिङमा चाहिँ 26 लिएर आउनु पर्छ है, अनि त्यसपछि लिसनिङ यस्तै के छ त्यो मैले चेक गर्न भएन. You guys can always check, go to their website and check. And IELTS 6.5 total mark, speaking 7 mandatory ho. Now step 3 is BCSE. So once you have started registration and done with it, then you can move ahead with BCSE. So your proof of graduation चाहिँ भइराख्छ है यो बेलामा, यो कम्प्लिट हुन पर्छ भन्ने केही जरुरी छैन for BCSE. You can move ahead. Now step 4 is CP, clinical proficiency exam. Okay, यो CP हुनको लागि चाहिँ step 1, 2, 3 sorry, चाहिँ complete भइसक्नु पर्छ. Even the proof of you, the ECFEZ should receive college degree verification form from your dean for you CP exam. These all things have to be completed properly. Now the step 5 is NAVLE, North American Veterinary Licensing Exam. So this is important for everybody, even the people graduate from US. Sorry, AVMA accredited university, they require this NAVLE, and this is for the state board licensing, and all these things are very important. So once you are done with your BCSE, then you can move ahead with CPE, but all these things have to be completed. Okay, and then you can take a NAVLE, or after BCSE you can take NAVLE and then do the CPE. Like there is no hard and fast that you have to be completed. You have to complete NAVLE before CPE. It entirely depends on your time. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one question.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Straightforward to the point. From journey from CVMA to NAVLE,
Yeah.
what the total cost be? Like, as you said, you did it on your own, and that's so inspiring, right? But what could be the total cost, like from CVMA to NAVLE journey? I have heard it's super expensive, and we just can't afford. I want to know the truth.
So when I stood for CVMA, it was just 500 CAD, okay, Canadian dollar CAD, just for the registration. So it was about 32,000 INR, okay, and then after that I had to send documents and stuff. That only cost like 3,000 INR. So whenever I'm saving money, it will all be in INR, okay. And then I also took my IELTS test, okay. IELTS test लिँदा पनि कस्तो कस्तो भइरहेको थियो होइन, मतलब IELTS test चाहिँ मैले CVMA गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि लिएको हो. So like I really needed a push to do IELTS also, and I'm so grateful for the people I have in my life to give me that push whenever I require. Okay, so that was like, because I was like when I was working in Delhi, I was so confused, like what am I gonna do with my life? Am I just gonna be here, or this is not stable? What's all those things? So during that time, I had taken the decision that I'm going to pursue this and make my life better, like all those things. Yeah, so registration it cost me 14 or 15,000 INR. Okay, you guys can just write it down, and maybe we can do a plus with us. So I have also 14,000 for IELTS, okay. And luckily I had like good number in IELTS, score in IELTS, that I did not have to redo it, so it saved a lot of money for me. Okay, and then for registration it was 32,000. Okay, CVMA registration, and 3,000 to send documents. Okay, and then I registered for BCSE. It is somewhere around 435 Canadian dollar. Okay, so that was also about like 25 or 26,000. Okay, all these payments I did via credit card of India. Okay, Indian bank थियो, मसँग इन्डियाको बैंक छ, सो त्यहीँको क्रेडिट कार्डबाट कुरा हो, क्रेडिट कार्डबाट मात्रै हुन्छ होइन. I have no idea about payment system from Nepal. I have zero idea about credit cards of Nepal. Okay, and so sorry about that. Payment method पनि एकदम important हुन्छ, that you guys will have to figure out if you are gonna do it from Nepal. Alright, so इन्डियामा चाहिँ these all things are pretty simple. I mean, I find it simple because I was living there and I was using those things. And BCSC को लागि के भयो अनि BCSC गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ मैले October 22 मा चाहिँ I had already moved to WPS, okay, as a senior resident veterinary surgeon. And during that time BCSC मा चाहिँ कति धेरै के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि कति धेरै wait one second. कति धेरै चाहिँ पार्टिसिपेन्टहरु आउँथे हैन, who were also preparing for CVME or ECFPC pathway. And since they were very kind, they were kind enough to share all the study materials or resources with me, and then I used to follow those things. It was really important. And one of the participants also shared me the Juku review subscription for my BCSC preparation, not for the NAVLE. And I used all those things. And when I was doing BCSC, I did not need any subscription. Like I used those, and then I read. And also I read Merck manual. I already had the book. That Merck manual, I bought it in India when I was only undergrad, and when we had gone for India tour. Do you guys have India tour nowadays?
No.
It is cancelled, man.
Why? Oh God, I'm so sorry, you guys.
अहिले यो इन्टर्नसिप चाहिँ इन्डियामा हुन्छ म्याम, त्यो चाहिँ भइराखेको छ, तर टुर चाहिँ क्यान्सल भयो, इन्टर्नसिप चाहिँ सुरु भएको छ। कहिले भएको छ, एउटा सिनियरको भएको थियो, त्यसपछि बिचमा भएको छैन, अहिले फेरि भएको छ। अब वी डोन्ट नो हाम्रो ब्याचमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ।
Okay, fine, much better. Like getting internship is much better. Yeah. So BCSC को लागि चाहिँ भयो 400 कति भनेर त्यो भनेको थियो 26,000 जस्तो भयो हैन. And then I also like got through it. I passed, and then त्यो पास भइसकेपछि CBME मा अब BCSC पास भएपछि चाहिँ if you are in CBME you can register for PSA exam. So they do preliminary surgical assessment before CP. Okay, that is like extra in CBME. So it will cost you 1,000 CAD. That time it was costing me 1,000 CAD, but now they have changed it to somewhere around 1,200 CAD. Okay, so that was about 60,000 that I paid after passing BCSC because I thought I will go to Canada, and I paid that, and then and they put me in wait list. Okay, very long wait list. Okay, PSC and CP, you have like tremendous amount of wait list, so you have to plan properly. And I already had it. Like I took the wait list that was in 2023 April. Yeah. Then 60,000 त्यही गइहाल्यो हैन INR. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ कति भयो 60,000. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ के भयो त न्याभलेको लागि मैले पढ्न थालेँ, अनि मैले बेड सब्सक्रिप्सन लिएँ. अनि अब न्याभलेको लागि चाहिँ सबै USD मा गयो हैन. CAD मा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अलि सस्तो परिरहेको थियो, अलि ठिक परिरहेको थियो. तर न्याभले गर्न थालेपछि चाहिँ सबै USD मा जान थाल्यो हैन. डलरमा लास्ट धेरै पैसा सबै कमाएको जति चाहिँ मैले यस्तै गरेछु. अनि अब न्याभलेको लागि चाहिँ न्याभलेको दुईटा विन्डो हुन्छ. एउटा भनेको चाहिँ नोभेम्बर डिसेम्बर विन्डो, अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ अप्रिलको विन्डो हुन्छ है. अनि मैले चाहिँ नोभेम्बर डिसेम्बरको विन्डोलाई लिन मन थियो, किनभने मैले BCSC नै मार्च 2023 मा दिएको थिएँ. सो दे ओपन अराउन्ड अगस्त. ओके, अगस्तमा तिनीहरूले ओपन गरे. तर त्योभन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ मैले बेड प्रेपको सब्सक्रिप्सन लिएँ, विच कस्टेड मी अराउन्ड 480 USD. ओके, बेड प्रेपको प्रिमियम 480 USD was, I don't know how much it is in INR. I think I paid around maybe 44,000. Yeah, 44,000 for that like prep, okay. And for Navli, I paid 1 lakh. It was 1750 USD. So I think it was around somewhere around 1,20,000 or something like that. So you can see like altogether last day. So all those things I was able to do because I was in IP, so okay. All those things. Okay, so you can see like almost around maybe 2-3 महिना यस्तै 4-5 लाख जस्तो खर्च भइसकेको थियो होइन भयो अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ अनि यो ECFBC मा कन्भर्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ 1400 USD एन्ड ECFBC मा चाहिँ जस्ट 1400 USD लाग्यो रेजिस्ट्रेसनको लागि अनि अब CP को लागि चाहिँ इट्स गर्न कस्ट लाइक almost $8,000. So that I'm gonna go with loan अनि पछि चाहिँ बिस्तारै काम गरेर पे गर्ने. So that is how you do it. So that is how much it's gonna cost. Am I clear? Anything?
CP like $8,000 भन्नुभयो है.
Yesterday we can proceed
towards the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so यति भइसकेपछि so already we know like what are the major challenges to reach the desired goal of ECFBC pathway. एउटा भनेको चाहिँ financial constraint हुन्छ हैन sorry financial constraint हुन्छ financial constraint हुन्छ अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ date and available for CPE. Okay, if you it's very competitive. अब ECFBC को चाहिँ केही पनि हुँदैन wait listहरु nothing but CVMA को चाहिँ they will ask you to pay some money for CPE registration after you are done with your PSA. Just keep that in mind. Okay, there is one extra step for CVMA, that is PSA, that's called as preliminary surgical assessment. And then yeah, so they will keep you in a wait list, and whenever there is available, they will just message you. So it's no headache. But with ECFBC, it's pretty much complicated. You have to be always checking all those things. Luckily this year they mentioned date and time and I was able to book. Okay, then another major thing for us is visa. Nowadays they hardly give visa to they hardly give any tourist visa just like that. So visa is very important thing. That is why you have to have a robust planning. Okay, your goal could be ECFBC pathway, but because of this visa and financial constraint, it may push back to a bit later. Like it will take some time. You have in place and a good support and a financial thing. Yeah, so you can just plan your future ahead of time, like for the okay. Sorry, I think after this we are gonna be done. Yeah. I'll just address the questions in the chat box. Where is chat box? Okay. About this Navli, I think. Okay. but how is the vet practice in US? So I have not yet practiced. Okay, license गर्नुपर्छ practice गर्नको लागि चाहिँ, तर म shadowing मा जान्छु कहिलेकाहीँ हैन. Shadowing भनेको चाहिँ observe गर्ने, हेर्ने, अनि उनीहरुको चाहिँ एकदम राम्रो छ भन्नाले एकदमै सिस्टमेटिक हुन्छ, बेसिक पनि हुन्छ नि, एउटा पनि पोइन्ट नछुटाइकन तलदेखि माथिसम्म सबै कुराहरू कन्सिडर गरिन्छ है. इट्स नट अल अबाउट डायग्नोस्टिक, इट्स अल अबाउट लाइक textbook format. Whatever we read in our textbook, it's all that. They don't miss anything. In which clinic in Delhi? I think they are still there. I worked with Dr. Vikram Malhotra. Okay, so it was his clinic back then. Now he has left that place. It's called as the Annual Friends Multi-Specialty Hospital. Can we do? I mean, it entirely depends on your employer in India. Okay, if your employer is taking all your legal responsibilities, then yeah. I mean, मेरो experience मा चाहिँ all my employers took my legal responsibilities. That's where I was okay. If I clear my BCS in Canada, not CP. Okay, so yes, in case of Canada, if you have cleared your BCS in NAVLE, yes, you can work in a restricted license thing. Okay, you have to find employers who will be ready to sponsor a visa for you, work visa for you, and sponsor a restricted license for you. As in, there have to be a supervising vet in place for you to move forward. Okay. I was even considering about this, but I thought I'll first finish my PSA and then think about it. But then I again moved to US, and even in US, few of the states they allow you the restricted license. For example, Nevada, Utah. If you have completed your BCSC and NAVLE, and you have to have your CP scheduled for like some time within 6 months period of time. Okay, that's all. Let's just move to next presentation, next slide. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, now let's just, it's very important, it's quite important for you to plan your future goals ahead of time so that you know what you are doing and you know what you want to do. If you want to go into clinical practice, there are like multiple things: small animal, large animal, mixed practice, poultry, all those things. You know, in US there is a dire shortage of large animals, even mixed practice. You know, all these people. I mean, in US and Canada, it's all shortage. And you can go into academic also, professor with research lab and team. It's pretty much. This is what I wanted to do in the beginning, and I think I still want to do this, but I want to guide DVM students. Okay, I want to guide students in College of Veterinary Medicine, so I still have this in mind. And you can also go into industry once you are done with your master's or PhD. You can go into R&D and be the consultant. In case of Nepal, you can be as a consultant in poultry industry and all those things. Lastly, after you have achieved all the experiences, then you can go into business or practice ownership. But your current financial status, family support, and responsibilities play an important role. Okay. Once you have considered your pathway, just answer that. Are you happy looking at your bigger picture? I am pretty much happy looking at my bigger picture. Okay. So this is it. It's very important to plan and stick to it. Okay. But there will be lots of modifications. Just have to keep looking at your bigger picture and then see how it works for you. And it's always important to start small, because in the beginning we might not get big chances. Okay, I also started from a small point and then moved ahead. And it's very important to have a confidence and believe yourself as well. Okay, there are like few tips on how you can transition to clinical practice. First one is networking. Networking is very, very important. You have to be proactive. You have to have proactive involvement with practicing veterinarians. I mean, as a practicing, I love to teach and train people. Okay, now everybody might not enjoy this, but whenever you find such people, you can always be proactive and go learn from them and be useful to them, so that they are happy to help you, teach you. And these things you can do during internship. So I really want to remember Dr. Gopal Dev, our immediate senior, who was working at Heart while I was interning over there, and he really helped me. He taught me whatever he knew, and we even wrote a case report together for my internship presentations. All those things, you have to be really proactive. Then another major important thing is participate in research activities when you are at internship or when you're undergrad. Please participate in a good quality research activities. Have those research skills with you. They are gonna take you to they are gonna open a lot of doors for you. They are gonna help you to achieve your goals in future. Another major thing is you have to study books and build your concepts. Okay, so when I was preparing for NAVLE, I figured, like, I saw the level of knowledge we have. And I mean, even though I used to read books from the beginning and I had my concepts clear, short. So when I was preparing for NAVLE, I mean, way before then, like when I was preparing for BCSC, back then only I started building my concepts again, because the previous ones were not enough. So I took a lot of time for BCSC because I was reading books, I was building my concepts and all those things. Okay, now you are on your undergrad or internship period, you can always utilize that. Medicine is all about concepts, so it's very important. Another next thing is training yourself with every opportunity available to you. I think I don't have to emphasize on this because we are very at part and we train ourselves a lot with whatever opportunity we have available. And next one is imposter syndrome, because when I had graduated, of imposter syndrome, and it took me quite a lot time or quite a while to overcome that. Okay, so you have to recognize that if you have that or not, imposter syndrome, then it will really help you. If you once know if you have that, then it will help you to overcome that. Then guidance and the will go long way. If you have learning attitude, then you will go a long way. People will love teaching you if you have learning attitude. Okay. And yeah, when I talk about this imposter syndrome, once I am in US, I have again developed this imposter syndrome. Okay, so it's like back and forth. So this is how you can transition to clinical practice. It's all about guidance, okay, and then your knowledge and networking and then training, okay, all these things. And mental health is also important. You have the ability to recognize if the place is serving you well enough or not, if the place is guiding you well enough or not. Things are pretty important. And in case of Nepal, you can always talk or veterinary practitioners who are practicing in Nepal, because I have lost the touch to just to the scenarios and things in Nepal because it's been quite some time that I am not in Nepal. त्यही भएर चाहिँ यदि नेपालमा नेपालमै गर्न छ भने चाहिँ नेपालकै मान्छेहरूसँग कुरा गर्दा बेस्ट भयो है, नेटवर्किङ गर्दा बेस्ट भयो. So these are the resources that you can keep close if you are transitioning to small animal practice. That is like my best one is Clinician's Brief. I love them. I mean, you can see like how many tabs I have opened for 1, 2, 3. Sorry, all these tabs are like for this, like all these things. I love reading these things from Clinician's Brief. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So I love Clinician Brief. So I learned about Clinician Brief when I had gone to Wasaba Congress 2018. Then I got free subscription of Clinician's Brief for lifetime, and I always refer over there. They're like peer-reviewed articles written by a specialist, okay, who has done residency and all those things. So in US, what it exactly like in human medicine, so there will be like DVM undergrad students, then interns who are already DVMs, then residents, and then faculty members. Faculty members are always, not always, but most of the time they are specialty people like diplomats, diplomats in small animal internal medicine, or diplomats of American College of Veterinary Surgery, all those type of like big stuff. Okay, so that is how it works in College of Veterinary Medicines in US, and I think it's really inspiring, and it will enrich you with everything. I mean, everything you need to be a good vet, unlike ours. Now, the second one is today's veterinary practice. That also I got to know about in Wasaba Congress 2018, and I got a free subscription for that as well. Okay, it has really good resources, and you can also access it. It's like open access. Okay, very, very nice. They will have everything. And the Merck manual, this is like the favorite book in this entire world for me. Okay. Merck manual is my favorite thing. I love it. I still read it. And then Veterinary Information Network, it's good. And eClinPath website, that's for like if you ever did cytology, which is very cheap and easy. Earlier, when I had just graduated, I used to think it's like a big deal and we can't do it. But as time passed, as I started practicing, I learned it's pretty cheap. You just need a few stains, slide, and a microscope. So just remember that evidence-based medicine is crucial. Okay, whenever you are practicing, you have to have evidence-based medicine practice. Then you will be doing right for the patient, for the owner, for your practice, and you will grow a lot. It will take you to next step. Okay, now we'll just moving towards the last. About to finish. Okay. Amrit? Hello.
Yes, Didi.
Yes, Didi.
Physical examination move government.
Yes, we can proceed.
Yes, we can proceed.
Yeah, I'll address all of your questions after I end my presentation. Okay. So physical examination of small animals, it's very easy. Okay, it's just like jun animal ma gare pani त्यही हो हैन, same हो. You have to do it from the beginning to end, from head to tail. So first step would be history. It will include your client communication skills, which is most important. So in history, you have to include medical, surgical, housing, diet, and whatever present problem is there, or if previously any problems were there. And then you have to do distance exam. That means you will see dog or cat from the distance. Okay. Gait, meditation, air code, and body condition score. There's like a scoring things. You can always go and find guidelines. There are like many guidelines you can follow. Then you have to do system-wise exam. That is like to tell, do not miss anything. You are right now, growing but just graduating. So if you start practicing like that, then it will be set in your subconscious mind, and it will help you a lot. It will give a lot of clues which we might miss if we don't do it. Now, vitals are pretty important: temperature, heart rate, respiration, mucous membrane. If you can do blood pressure, that is also best, and all those things. I used to think blood pressure machine is pretty complicated in animals, but it's like just dog and very simple machine. Then now this Vasawa has put guidelines in their guidelines that assessment as a physical examination. During physical examination, one of the vitals, pain assessment is also one of the vitals. Okay, so you have to do pain assessment as well. So there is this Grimace scale for cats. Okay, that's really good. You can just go through it. You just search Grimace scale for cats, and then you can just go through it. And then based on your physical examination, you can ask for diagnostic test. It could be simple CBC, serum biochemistry, or it could be like radiography, ultrasound, or cytology, histopathology, all those things. And last and the most important is client communication. Whenever you are doing all these things, whatever you find, you have to communicate with client and then tell them a cost estimation. Give them as much information as you can so that they can make informed decision. So that is all. Now let's move to monitoring the critically ill patient. Do you guys have any questions in physical examinations?
No, Didi.
Great. There are like many courses on physical examination. I refer to, for large animals, I refer to Cornell University College of Veterinary Medicine Resources. Okay, for small animals, I like this Illinois University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine. They have this iLearning YouTube channel and even the websites, and they have pretty good and simple description of all these things. Now you see, when you graduate and go to the practice, you will encounter critically ill patients. So how do you manage them? There is a rule of 20 to manage them, okay, or to just consider them or keep in mind. So first one is fluid balance. What is the status of fluid balance, or how you can do it, and then albumin in the body. It's really important to maintain the pressure in the blood vessel and to keep maintaining the heart pumping, and keep the blood in the blood vessel and oxygen supply and all those things. And another measure is glucose, monitoring glucose. It's really easy. If you have a glucometer, even the human glucometer, I think in India it was just costing like 500. It was starting from 500 range. I don't know in Nepal how it is. I'm sure it's easy, but even human glucometer you can use, okay, and then interpret your things. Blood glucose, it will really help you to manage critically ill patient. Electrolytes and acid base balance, oxygenation and ventilation, pretty easy to figure out. Okay, oxygenation, you just see the mucous membranes, and if you have SpO2, please connect it. Nowadays people are using Apple Watch to see all those things, and and ventilation, the way the dog is breathing, and level of consciousness, meditation, and neurostatus, conscious how conscious is the patient, and the meditation, that means how, like, if the patient is looking a little bit bright or depressed or really really depressed, all those things. Blood pressure is also important, okay. And then vitals for the heart rate, pulse rate, rhythm, all those things, temperature, coagulation, we might need to check platelets and other things like prothrombin or things. And then another thing is RBC and ASB, hemoglobin, renal function. You can do it with burn and creat. And infection identification is very important for the prevention and treatment, and to consider immune status as well. And GI motility and mucosal integrity. Sometimes patients are, if they are in septic condition, then motility there might not be any GI motility, or all those things you can check. And pain control is pretty important in critically. They might be in pain. If you control pain, then 75 to 90% of your problem might resolve. Drug doses and metabolism. If critically ill patient, then you may have to reduce the drug dose and consider the metabolic pathway. If the patient is critically ill because of liver insufficiency, then you have to consider the drugs you choose, because most of the drugs who metabolized in to choose the reduced dose as well. And nutrition is pretty important. For example, in parvo patients are considered as critically ill patients, and for nutrition, people say that it's a very outdated practice to keep parvo patient empty stomach for a longer time till it resolves, but it's going to only do harm. So you can get your patient back to nutrition as soon as possible when the vomition resolves, or you can also do trickle feeding, okay, for such things. And even for the cats who are anorexic, you can put the nasal feeding tube, or even the esophagostomy tube. All those things, it's going to be really vital roles. Nursing care, wound care, and bandage chains. Loving care is also important. When you are monitoring the critically ill patients, then you can always, if the patient is hospitalized, then you can always have their owners visit them time and again, and all those things. Now, these are the few pro tips that I have included over here, okay. In CKD patients, furosemide is contraindicated. Why it is contraindicated? Are you guys there? Why do you think furosemide is contraindicated in CKD?
We just had the case of CKD at our hospital today, and our doctor prescribed furosemide. I'm curious, like, why is it contraindicated in CKD?
So, in case of CKD patient, kidneys are severely compromised. I mean, the nephrons have lost their function, okay? There is a severely loss of function of kidney, and kidney is not able to control anything or even to excrete the toxins. If we use furosemide, then it will cause diuretic effects, and it will cause kidney to overwork, isn't it? What does furosemide do? It will kidney to overwork. That's why.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, and we lose our parvoviral patients due to hypovolemia. Okay, 80% of the cases are lost due to hypovolemia. If we are able to recognize the symptoms and signs of hypovolemia, we can all save our parvo patients. If the parvovirus has not affected heart, then okay, I mean not all patients, but most of the patients, if we are able to correct hypovolemia, then yeah, and I have corrected a lot of hypovolemia in parvo patients, and got a desirable result, that is like saved the patients. Then you also have to remember another thing: fluid are therapeutic drugs with adverse side effects such as death. So whenever you are using fluids, you have to have a therapeutic plan. You have to have the doses. If you are using it for resuscitation, rehydration, maintenance, or how to discontinue all those things. So whenever you are using fluids, be very vigilant. I'm vigilant about all those things. Now, the most important thing, like wait and think before administering meloxicam. I want you guys to, like, whoever are in practice or are graduating, to tell me about meloxicam. Like, in what condition you would use meloxicam?
Meloxicam is primarily COX-2 inhibitor. So in case of inflammation, we use kind of.
Good. Keep them coming. Good.
For pain management
For pain management and fever also.
Good. What type of pain? There are two types of pain: acute, chronic. What type of pain?
I think acute pain.
acute pain.
Acute pain.
Okay. Okay, good. Why I wanted to include this was because meloxicam is an acid, very useful acid and available to us. But you have to remember it has certain adverse effect, like very much detrimental effect. So if you are presented with trauma case, suppose you have an accident case, then do not go and for pain management. Okay, you can always choose opioids. Okay. Any opioids available in Nepal?
के हो नाम मर्फिनहरु उनीहरु त हो नि
कसलाई थाहा छ opioids? Yes, tramadol. अरु? Sorry. Anyway, so meloxicam, it causes, it's really detrimental to kidney, okay, and it causes very bad hypertension. So you really have to wait and think before administering meloxicam. And you have to weigh the pro and cons, how it's gonna act and how it is gonna help the patient, if it is going to help or if it is going to make the thing bad, all those things. And another major thing, adequate pain management will solve 90% of problems. Okay, even parvo patients who are critically ill are in pain, but doesn't mean we'll go and give meloxicam because they are already in, their GI is already bleeding and they are already hypotensive because they are losing their blood, and meloxicam causes both of these things. So if you have the option of opioids like tramadol or even buprenorphine, then you can always go and give that. Now, another thing is you have to remember that you can always decline to provide your service to toxic clients, the clients who are not respective of you or your practice. You can always decline. This is like clearly written in our policy also. Right? So, okay, these are just like my pro tips. I think I am about to finish. Okay. Sorry. So before finishing, I just want to do I just want to talk about this case, okay? A wholesome story of cyanide before by. So this was the dog. This dog was brought by, it's in Tamil Nadu, Ooty. This dog was brought by local person, and the dog had like eye popped out and a bad laceration, and we are guessing that it could be because of some animal attack or something. Then we convinced him that we have to do the exam and all those things, and to sedate the dog and do the own flushing and stuff, and then see if the eye is working or not. Then this person, this owner just the dog in our facility after sedation, after signing consent form and everything. Then he left, and we tried to reach to him, and he was like, no, I mean, he was not reachable, phone number, everything. So this dog we took inside, and so in WS when we have an abandoned dog, we have to like consider a few factors, like is the dog gonna find a home afterwards, or are we gonna help the dog with the things over there. And then it comes like it comes down to two options: either go with the treatment or euthanasia. So I was seeing this case, and everybody else were like, euthanize. I was like, no, let's just give it a try. We can just see. And this eye also, people were like, this eye is not working. The dog has already lost the vision. And I was like, I don't think so. I was very consistent, and I believe that this dog will, make it to. This dog will make. And then I just cleaned everything, and then I just put this eye socket and did the temporary tarsorrhaphy, clean the wound, sutured it, and we had to extract few of his tooth as well, and and then put him in 4 times a day pain management. Next day, not next day, but I think after 2 days, this dog started eating, and then was in a very much good adequate pain managed state. There was like not much of pain, and it started doing really good. And then the best thing was like even this eye wound was very, very old. They were able to save the eye. He was able to see from this eye as well. The vision was not lost. I feel really great about this case that I listened to myself, not other people, and then that really helped this patient. Now this dog is adopted and really very happy, and this is like just after a few days we had to do it to make the wound fresh and all these things. So this is this dog inspires me from time to time to believe in me and do the right thing. So yeah, that's all. Now I will go to questions.
Question like जसमा कस्तो भजन हाम्रो अहिले हामी भिसिएसमा छौँ नि त अब 8th सेमिस्टर अनि त्यसपछि हस्पिटलमा चाहिँ धेरै केसेसहरु त्यो पार्भोरिज्म लिंक पार्भो लाइक साइन अनि त्यसपछि डिस्टेम्बरको पनि धेरै जस्तो त्यस्तो देखिन्छ हैन अनि अब हामीसँग त्यस्तो डायग्नोस्टिक अब त्यस्तो र्यापिड डायग्नोस्टिक किट पनि छैन अनि अब केही पनि छैन अनि त्यसपछि आउने बित्तिकै हामीले गर्यो भने त्यो फ्लुइड थेरापी दिन्छ अनि त्यसपछि अनि उयो अब एउटा मोस्ट युज सेप्टिक एन्टिबायोटिक एन्ड अर लेटर त्यो दुईटा तीनटा प्रेस्क्रिप्सन नै व्हाटएभर द केस कम्स त्यही नै गरिन्छ अनि अब कति डगहरु चाहिँ अब हाम्रो अगाडि नै मरिरहेको हुन्छ अनि हामी केही पनि गर्न सक्दैनौं सो लाइक पार्भो लाइक सिम्पटम देखियो भने हाम्रो एक्चुअल अब हामीले गर्न सक्ने यहाँ भित्रको हाम्रो लाइन अफ ट्रिटमेन्ट चाहिँ के हुन सक्छ त्यो चाहिँ एक्चुअली भन्दिनु न यो एकदम धेरै कमनली देखिरहेको छ दिनमै दुईटा चाहिँ हाम्रो हस्पिटलमा आइरहेको छ के दिदी यो पार्भो केस चाहिँ
Okay, thank you so much. के भन्छ रे मैले चाहिँ के सजेस्ट गर्छु भन्दाखेरि पहिला सुरुमा चाहिँ राम्रोसँग फिजिकल एक्जामिनेसन गर्नु पर्यो हैन अनि अब त्यो पारो पेसेन्ट चाहिँ हाइपोभोलेमिक स्टेटमा छ कि नै, पेन कति छ, त्यो सबै कुराहरू हेर्नु पर्यो. अनि what for now what you guys can do is if you can just send me a list of medicines available to you, fluid therapy अनि त्यसपछि सबै मेडिसिनहरू, एन्टिबायोटिकहरू पनि सबै पेनिसिलिन ग्रुपको सरी पेनिसिलिन ग्रुपको अथवा अरू सेफालोस्पोरिनको पनि जे जे अभाइलेबल छ त्यो सबैको लिस्ट बनाएर मलाई पठाइदिनु भयो भने चाहिँ मेबी आई क्यान जस्ट सजेस्ट यु प्रपरली कि कसरी अगाडि बढ्नु. I know like मैले पनि इन्टर्नसिप गर्दाखेरि अथवा चाहिँ BTSमा काम गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ पारो पेसेन्ट मर्थे होइन. अनि अब त्यति बेला त मलाई केही पनि थाहा थिएन. अनि अहिले चाहिँ आई थिङ्क लाइक ओहो यति बेला यसरी मलाई थाहा भएको भए त्यति बेलामा कति धेरै पेसेन्टहरू बच्न जस्तो चाहिँ हुन्छ. If you can provide me list of all those medicines, I can just talk about it.
Okay, Didi, I will send you. I will message.
Yeah, and regarding distemper cases, okay, so I mean, I would suggest euthanasia after assessment of the assessment of disease, because this disease is very much contagious and you might not have the isolation ward or anything. So.
Okay, Didi, thank you, Didi. Yes, I will.
Yeah, please follow up with that list with me. Okay, you can just send it to me.
Okay, Didi, yes.
Hey, there are some questions on chat box.
Yeah. Okay, I just need to take a 5. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'll just be back. Just give me like 2 to 3 minutes. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Medication available, ceftriaxone, ampicillin, fluoxetine, penicillin, pain strip, processing. So I'm going to have to मेगापेन के ब्यान्डै भएको त मेगापेन नेपालमा चाहिँ अहिले युज नगर्ने हाम्रो हस्पिटलमा त्यही हुन्थ्यो बाजा गर्न नाचेर आउने हो क्या सब के सोधिम न सबै के सोधिम यार यति एन्टिबायोटिक
Hello everyone, if you have some questions, you can drop it in chat box or you can raise your hand and unmute yourself and can ask directly also.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry. Okay, I'll just go and address the chat box question. What difficulties you faced in India that forced you to prepare? Okay, nothing forced me to prepare NAVLE. It was my decision for career advancement. Okay, I had a blast in India. I mean, it was really good experience. India, my career bonyo, JJ boy, whatever, all those things. If you are able to years, what would be your journey? Would it be same you are today or something else? You meant like when you meant like if I go back to 6-7 years, that means like my during my internship or right after graduation. Is that correct, Suraj?
Yes, Didi, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think if I had not trained with WBS, or if I had not gone to Wasawa and even internship, then I might have been into like academics. I might have done GRE and then came to where like US आएर मास्टर्स PhD गरिरहन्थे त्यही हुन्छ होला अब जे पनि हुन सक्थ्यो like yeah, but if I had the control over it, then I would just be doing my PhD and preparing myself for academia. Please understand. Tell. Okay, so I have not. I have no idea about Canada and expenses in Toronto. I'm sorry. In our BTL nowadays, there are many cases when Parvo and Prashant Lamsaneko. I already did answer, and then many pets. Suman Koirala has medication, ceftriaxone, ampicillin plus cloxacillin, penicillin G, penstrip बनाया कि हो penicillin streptocillin.
Streptomycin.
So yes. Streptomycin. Okay. Okay, great. अमृतले त म्युट गरेर बोलिराखेको छ है मैले केही सुने छैन यस्तो केस छ भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि एउटा कुरा बुझ्नु पर्ने चाहिँ पार्भो भाइरल इन्फेक्सनमा इट्स अ भाइरल इन्फेक्सन एन्ड वी only use antibiotic to prevent any secondary infection. Is there any blood CBC machine hematoanalyzer in BTH?
There was थियो तर अहिले चाहिँ फङ्सनल छैन भन्ने अब खै बिग्रिसकेको छ हामी चाहिँ जस त्यसैको लागि अब चलाउनलाई चलोस् भनेर डिनाफिस पनि गएको थियौँ अस्ति अहिले चाहिँ चलेको छ
अनि त्यहाँनिर के भन्छ अरे पिसिबी हेर्ने ट्युब पनि हुन्छ होला नि त्यो हेमाटोक्रिट के अरे पिसिबी ट्युब के भन्छ यार बिर्सेँ
त्यो हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ प्याथोलोजी ल्याबमा हुन्छ अनि यसो अब त्यो ल्याब पनि जतिखेर भने ल्याब उयो हाम्रो आफ्नो प्र्याक्टिकल भएको बेला मात्र खुल्छ तागी लागेर बसेको हुन्छ सबै चिजमा नि युज गर्नु भएको पनि युज गर्न पाइँदैन कि त्यो चाहिँ अलिकति अनफर्चुनेट जस्तो छ
के अब हजुरहरूले चाहिँ पहल गर्नुभयो भने मिल्छ होला बिकज सबै कुराहरू कनेक्टेड हुन्छ नि त लाइक प्याथोलोजी ल्याब एटिएस प्याथोलोजी अनि सर्जरी यिनीहरू भनेको चाहिँ क्लिनिक भनेको चाहिँ कनेक्टेड हुन्छ कि सबै कुराहरूमा होइन अनि त्यही भएर अब त्यो कुराहरूलाई फुल आई थिङ्क त्यहाँ भए पनि फुल युज गर्न नसक्नुको मेन कारण भनेको चाहिँ आई थिङ्क त्यहाँनिर एउटा प्र्याक्टिसनर भेटनेरियन नभएर पनि हुनसक्छ होइन अब आई डोन्ट नो अहिले त कस्तो छ टिचरहरू को हुनुहुन्छ आई डोन्ट नो हाम्रो टाइममा चाहिँ हुनुहुन्थेन सबै फिल्ड प्र्याक्टिसनर हुनुहुन्थ्यो अनि त्यसपछि त्यही अनुसारले ट्रेनिङ हुन्थ्यो सो आई मिन यु गाइज क्यान अलवेज all those things है आई थिङ्क अहिले त सरहरू पनि अहिले ओपन हुनु भइसकेको छ कि आई डोन्ट नो के छ लास्ट टाइम मैले भेट्दाखेरि चाहिँ एकदम ओपन छु टाइपको थियो ट्रेनिङको लागि भेट्दाखेरि चाहिँ होइन सो लेट्स सी आई मिन यु गाइज क्यान अलवेज युज अल दोज थिङ्स यदि पिसिबी र टोटल सोलिड मात्रै पनि अथवा टोटल प्रोटिन मात्रै पनि मेजर गर्न सक्यो भने यु विल हेभ अ लट अफ आइडियाज एन्ड यु विल सी अ लट अफ थिङ्स इभन इन पार्गो पेसेन्ट्स ओके अनि अब त्यो पनि छैन भने चाहिँ हाइपोभोलेमियाको साइनहरू हेर्नु पर्यो पर्फ्युजन टाइम हार्ट रेट पल्सको क्वालिटी कस्तो छ and hydration percentage kosto cha haina all those things it's a very big lecture if we are going to talk about it so maybe based on these medications I'll prepare some protocols for you guys and you guys can just follow I'll follow okay yeah
Okay.
There are one more questions in the chat box from Parasai. Can we do veterinary practice in India legally without Indian veterinary license?
I think I already answered that. I said like if your employer is happy to take your legal responsibilities, then yes.
If you have any questions, then you can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, we will come at the end of the program.
Okay, Suraj Parajali's question: do you suggest your juniors to follow your path? Okay, so you have to find your own path. Okay, I can only give you suggestions and talk from my experience. But I mean, I don't know. I'm still figuring out things for me. It's not like I have figured out everything. Okay, I don't think anybody will ever do that. I'm still figuring out, and it's just that when I look at myself, I see a lot of potential in me, and I feel like I can achieve things that I want to, and that keeps me motivated most of the time. So yeah, I mean, if you can introduce that thing in yourself, then it will really help you. And you know, my path might not be favorable to you. You might need your own path, and also like सबैको ग्रो हुने तरिका सबैको अगाडि बढ्ने तरिका फरक हुन्छ कसैलाई कुनै कुराले वर्कआउट गर्न सक्छ हैन कसैलाई अर्कै कुराले वर्कआउट गर्न सक्छ and then also another major thing to remember is you have to literally put yourself out there and see if you enjoy or not. Okay, so these are the years that you will do that. अहिलेको टाइम भनेको चाहिँ त्यही गर्ने हो कि आफूले just put yourself out and see if you enjoy this. Thank you so much, Bisal Khatri. Are you already a doctor and practicing?
No, I'm at Nancy.
Great. Yeah, I mean,
Dr. Avinash, Dr. Padam, Dr. Sandeep was the best medal.
Oh, my batchmate. They are also very.
I'm touch with him. I'm going to So,
Thank you. उनीहरूले पनि एकदम राम्रो गरिरहेको छ हैन आई फाइन्ड देम रियली इन्स्पायरिङ द्याट नेपालमै बसेर त्यस्तो कन्डिसनमा यस्तो राम्रो हस्पिटल खोलेर